Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Paul Lopez.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
And it is Tuesday, May 12th.
Yes, it is.
Tuesday. I had to think again. I felt like it was Thursday. It's actually
It is.
Tuesday, May 12th, and wherever you are this morning, through whatever mode you're watching from, we do hope you're having a fantastic start to your Tuesday morning. And we want to thank you for joining us so early in the day and starting your morning right with us. Sabrina,
How you do, Paul?
I'm doing fine. It's Tuesday. We're early in the week, and I can't complain. There's a lot ahead for this week to do. I head down to Hope Creek this morning. Immediately after the morning show, I have some students to engage at a primary school in Hope Creek. And so, since you're asking, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to this morning, just having fun with some kids, talking a bit about the work that I do, the work that we do here. It's always a blast. I've done it in San Ignacio. I've gotten some invites to do it in Belmopan that I haven't been able to make as yet, and so I head down south, and it's one of my favorite places to be, southern Belize. So that's what my morning will look like. You?
I'm good. I was just talking earlier and mentioning how warmer the mornings feel lately. And now that you mention it, I was thinking of our colleague Shane Williams' story that he did last night on the news, highlighting how schools are grappling with warmer temperatures right now. And I know that we have been talking about El Nino and that coming with warmer temperatures. So I encourage you guys to try to stay cool throughout the day. That's definitely something I've been thinking about. You know, I was telling our TikTok viewers, more than anything right now, I just want to stay in the office, you know. You don't really want to step outside and go do nothing else. And so whatever you guys have planned today, I encourage you guys to stay cool, stay hydrated. And while you sit comfortably and enjoy your morning with us, we have a fantastic show lined up for you. Paul, let's get into some of the conversations we have lined up.
Excellent. So we have several conversations lined up. Head over with me to the screen and let's look at what we have planned for discussion this morning. In our first conversation, we have a discussion with Dr. Hidalgo, who's no stranger to the morning show, and a lupus patient. And that conversation is all about understanding the warning signs when it comes to lupus and raising awareness where lupus is concerned. And then our second conversation is all about hantavirus. So we're going to be touching on hantavirus in that discussion with Dr. Hidalgo. And then our second conversation is all about Belizean businesses. Yes, the Made in Belize Expo is back. So you want to know what businesses are going to be at the Made in Belize Expo and what you can get in terms of deals at that event, that annual event, then certainly you want to stay locked into that conversation. And then our third conversation, we're talking about motherhood, resilience, and building a Caribbean brand. Yes, women out there are making it happen, and we have a Caribbean entrepreneur on set really speaking about the moves and the waves they're making regionally. And last but certainly not least is 36 years of the BNDC. Yes, and so we have them joining us on set for a final conversation as they celebrate legacy and impact, of course. So you want to stay tuned and you want to join us for all these exciting and excellent conversations. Sabrina?
All right, Paul, thank you very much for that. Now, I have a question that I want to start off with before I list some of the things that I think you should know before you leave your homes. Now, there's this very famous streamer online known as iShowSpeed. Apparently, a lot of the kids know of him, and even some older people. Are you familiar with who he is? Well, recently, he was on a Caribbean tour, and of all the Caribbean countries that he missed, Belize was one of them. But as you can see on this video here, he did one of his most recent streams, and someone in the comment section said, come to Belize next time. And he said, I'll definitely be making it to Belize. And so we'll definitely be talking about that. We want to get your thoughts on it, what you think the impact of having streamers visiting countries like Belize or even our region, what impact that has on tourism or even anything at all. And then moving things along, we still got to talk about this billboard. Oh my goodness, we are talking about it for perhaps the second week. This time, though, we'll be talking about what our neighbors have been mentioning regarding very same billboard or similar billboards that people have been calling out as too provocative. And so Rude Boy billboard was removed in Jamaica. Will Belize do the same? That's a question that we are also posing. And then we also want to jump into the state of emergency that was recently enacted, the 50th of 2026. We have announced that 9 persons have been detained so far. And so we'll also be talking about what the implications of the SOE will include and if you stand to be affected. And then CARFA stepped in to talk a bit more about the hantavirus that Paul just mentioned. You do know that later on in the morning show, we will be talking about some of the symptoms and the signs to look out for. But CARFA has stepped in to share their thoughts on how this stands to affect the region and if it is even in the Caribbean region as yet. And then finally, a passenger has been arrested for not wearing a helmet. We'll definitely be talking about that and more as well. But Paul, I'm going to send things over to you, and I have to ask you immediately. The first question I want to ask is, what's your thoughts on iShowSpeed? Because I see you watching his streams.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I'm definitely a fan of iShowSpeed. I've made that known, right? And you know,
at least.
yeah, no. Listen, there was a time when Vianney interviewed us and told us what would be our dream interview. You remember that?
No.
You remember there was a series of questions that was asked to us a time like that's doing like little interviews with us at different locations in
Oh,
here.
yes. I remember
and
that.
when you don't remember because you couldn't say who was your dream interview.
Okay.
My dream interview was iShowSpeed, and I had made it known at that time because I've been following him for some time. And so when he said that he was going on this Caribbean tour, there was mixed feelings because one, I was excited that he was coming to the Caribbean, but I was also a bit disappointed that he did not
Belize.
he didn't have Belize on the list, right?
There was another country that he also didn't visit, right?
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Or
but,
was it only Belize?
I'm not sure,
Okay,
right?
okay.
I know he visited 15 Caribbean countries, and I wasn't looking at what countries he didn't go to except for Belize because I'm from Belize.
Gotcha.
And so I was a bit disappointed, but I said to myself, you know what? I was having a conversation with somebody on Facebook though, actually, about this very same thing. And I told that person, I said, you know what? Maybe I am actually okay with it because I get an opportunity to watch how my Caribbean people behave and actually get a front row seat to it versus being in the mix and having second-hand embarrassment. So
why you have second-hand embarrassment?
in other words, like I just wanted to be a witness and for my country to be a witness before we get thrown into it, right? And so I was kind of I was more pleased by that thought, right? That's how I kind of got over it.
Well, let's take a step back, though, just for people who might not be familiar with who he is.
Yes, and that's what I was going to.
Okay.
The world has changed drastically, where in the past, even in my childhood and those before me, but around that age, my age, and a little bit older, what was popular or what was considered fame or famous were individuals that you would see in movies, right? People that you would see on your television screen on a daily basis as well in live broadcasts, on the news, for example. But with the emergence of these streaming platforms, YouTube, Twitch, with the emergence of live broadcasts, even more so now, you've had a unique set of talent emerge called streamers.
Yeah.
And these are individuals who stream a lot of things. So there's streamers in gaming, people who go and they game for hours and hours and they live stream their gaming sessions. And then you have people like iShowSpeed.
And they make a lot of money doing this.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
forget to mention
definitely,
that.
it's a very lucrative career because there's advertisement deals, there's branding deals, and then you have people like iShowSpeed that has carved out a unique space for himself where he pretty much streams his daily activities, if you would. So he does IRLs, right? It's in real life.
Yeah.
In real life streams, and so he goes around and he just does a bunch of stuff, and he streams himself live doing it, and it draws a huge following. It's not everybody's cup of tea because the way he streams is very fast-paced. It's very random. For a lot of people, it's very loud and it's very chaotic, right? All of those things describe iShowSpeed's approach to streaming. But he has amassed a following of 54 million on YouTube and across, and even more across different platforms, streaming platforms. And so he brought that audience to the Caribbean through his streams. He visited 15 countries, and each country, it appears, had a plan in place to take him around and show him their culture
At fast pace, at his pace.
At his pace.
Yeah. I saw different activities that he did. One of the things that I found so amusing was the way that people flocked to him too, though. That's the thing. And that got me thinking, what would be the Belize experience if he came
very
here?
same.
And that's why I asked you guys in the start, do you know iShowSpeed? Is this kind of like one of those figures that are more appreciated by the younger population?
100%.
And if he comes to Belize, what do you think should be the fast-paced experience that he gets? I remember when he started the tour, some people were saying, you know, you have to carry on salt, you know, you have to make you experience certain things, eat certain foods. You know, with him now mentioning that he'd definitely visit Belize, I think it would be great for tourism. It would be great to get the buzz going about what our country is. The fact that a lot of people tend to still forget that we are a part of the Caribbean simply because we are also placed in Central America as well.
Yeah, but I heard him say it on his live stream in the Bahamas, but his Caribbean tour has come to an end, and it was never a part of the plan for his Caribbean tour, right? And so I take it with a tablespoon of salt, simply because he's said that about a lot of other countries, right? That he'll definitely visit. And to me, it sounds like when Vibes Cartel say, we at the corner of Belize, and we still can't see Vibes Cartel yet. So until I see it, I'll believe it. But I'm sure the kids are more excited than the adults in this situation.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be following that. And again, you can share your thoughts on that particular topic. But now we want to move into another definitely pressing topic that everyone is talking about right now. I know that yesterday you and Isani did a great job kind of dissecting the recent SOE. And we were also able to speak to the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado, on who stands to be affected, some persons that were also detained as well. Since that SOE has been put in place, I believe 9 persons so far. There are still general conversations that come about when this type of SOE is put in place. People want to know the effectiveness of it, Paul. People want to know if they're going to be affected in the first place. And One of the things you also hear recurring is the Belize Police Department saying that law-abiding citizens do not stand to be affected.
Yeah, 100%. I find it a bit odd that people seem to now be getting an understanding of some of the regulations that are in place when a state of emergency takes effect, right? And perhaps it's a fault of the police department in terms of the way they broadcast what these regulations are or how their messaging goes out. And perhaps it's a fault of ours in the terms of how we explain to people the do's and don'ts under a state of emergency. Because when I did the story yesterday, last night, where I broke down for individuals exactly the do's and don'ts, the authority that police officers have, the authority, the things that you have to abide by, a lot of people in the comments were saying, yes, finally, why it takes so long for something like this when we've had state of emergencies over for the past 6 years. In some years, 2 state of emergencies, and a lot of the regulations have been the same.
Yeah.
Right?
So do you think it's really just the pulse from the people being frustrated by the violence that is currently in certain parts of the country, that they welcome the SOE?
Well, the thing is, people have been calling for these sort of measures, right?
Okay.
People have been calling for this sort of crackdown. And maybe it is that the words or the phrase state of emergency has gotten such a bad name, has gotten such a bad rap, that everything that comes with it, we just tend to discard and say, well, that's a garbage, right? But when you take out, when you really sift from the state of emergency what these regulations are, you begin to see why some of them, if not all of them, are necessary. For example, a curfew for kids from 8 to 6. Another example is loitering, drinking in public spaces. Another example is gathering in public spaces beyond groups of 3 or more. Another example is police being able to search your property and your home.
How about the
without
businesses
a warrant.
one, though?
Right, again, businesses. So that one, I know a lot of people are questioning the fact that the police and law enforcement has the authority now to close a business if they deem its operations goes against public safety, or may lead to some sort of crime, if you would, right? I understand where the regulation comes from, and it's legal, so you can't dispute it from a legal standpoint. Though I understand where it's coming from. Let's say, for example, you have a bar, right, and it's looking as if what's taking place within the bar may lead to some sort of violent activity. People, they drink and then decide, well, you know what, it looked like they two got beef and they might start a fight or something like that. I can understand the police coming in and say, hey, this business have to shut down, at least for tonight, and we could figure it out tomorrow. Now they have that authority to do it under these state of emergency regulations.
I have a question, Paul. Where the state of emergency gives the Belize Police Department the authority to carry out certain activities like you just mentioned there, did they have the authority to do that prior? Well, for example, if they suspect that a business is carrying out some type of activity that goes against the safety of the public, wouldn't they have the ability to still intervene? Yeah, wouldn't they have the ability to still detain persons if they suspect that they are providing some type of, harm to their community or certain spaces? Certainly.
I'm no law enforcement, and I would have to go through the laws, but I think that's common knowledge, Sabrina, that if somebody is giving trouble as a police officer, you can't detain that person.
So the reason why I ask that is because there are critics might say, you could have done this already, And so the SOE being put in place, what's the purpose? And I'm just saying what the other side might also be mentioning as well.
Yeah, well, this gives, based on my understanding of it, it gives broader authority. So whereas they may be able to do that, under the state of emergency, what operations that are carried out are for a specific purpose, right? So it's not arbitrarily going after this person to investigate a separate issue or doing that to this. It's for a purpose, and the purpose is to restore calm and restore order in society where these shootings and violence associated or related to gangs are concerned. This is the main purpose. So under the state of emergency, based on what I understand from police, operations will be geared towards that. And the authority given under the state of emergency regulations will be used for that purpose. So it's not, all right, there's a state of emergency, make we just go haywire and just do thing here and do thing there and do thing there. No, my understanding is it's very intentional and purpose. And a part of it is also to ensure that investigations that are ongoing, that they're done effectively as well.
And one of the points that I also wanted to mention, and I believe this came from either ASP Stacey Smith or the commissioner himself, they also mentioned that they are moving on intelligence as well. And so someone knocking at your door, it's not by random selection. And so I think that is worthy of also mentioning, going back to the very same point that I mentioned earlier. The Compol said that if you are a law-abiding citizen, you do not stand to be affected. But I do want to move things along, and this one I have a question for you guys. Before I jump into that, though, I want to quickly read some of the comments that I see you guys saying. This is for the iShow Speed comment. Someone said, nobody got time for run behind one man. Sorry. And I think that kind of speaks to the culture here in Belize. Belize not really, I think Belize not really kind of recognize like famous people like that. Yeah, but the thing is, Sabrina,
Trinidad said that. Barbados said it. Barbados said nobody no got time for run behind you. Who else said it? Jamaica said it as well. People in Jamaica said it. And as soon as the man touched down, large crowds. People were saying that.
So Paul Belize.
That's not the audience.
All right. Somebody else said, if Vibes Cartel come to Belize, I want miss work just for see him far. So clearly there is a culture here in Belize where they do love those famous people as well. But now I have another question for you guys, because there was a story that kind of went a little bit viral on social media yesterday, and that's regarding helmet situations here in Belize, where a passenger was given a ticket, I believe, or was detained due to not wearing a helmet. So we have a couple questions that we want to pose, and perhaps you guys can answer as we discuss this topic. One, the first question: if motorcycles are already involved in so many deadly accidents in Belize, why are some riders still refusing to wear helmets? That's the first question. The second question: should police be stricter with helmet laws, considering how many lives could be saved in motorcycle crashes? Now, as we mentioned, this comes on the heels of a story that was aired yesterday where a resident said he was arrested because his passenger was not wearing a helmet. Now, Paul, my thoughts on it: these are laws. These laws are already in place. You are supposed to wear protective gear when you are driving. If you are driving a motorcycle, you're supposed to wear a helmet. If you are in a vehicle itself, you're supposed to use your seatbelts. And so I think sometimes you see that there are certain officers who might not enforce this, right? So yeah, leave free pass. But then in cases where it actually is enforced, you get this type of reaction. And so I think this is what is essentially taking place here. Him being arrested, I'm not so sure that that's what's supposed to follow. I thought that this was like a ticketed offense. I don't know.
Ticketable?
Yeah, a ticketable offense.
Well, we got the video last night, and we're going to be looking closer at it to get a clear understanding from the individual as to what happened, as well as definitely a report from police to get more understanding of it. Some people are saying that it is the manner in which he spoke to the police,
perhaps
when they approached him.
Yeah, as you can see on screen there.
His behavior, some are saying, is what escalated the situation. When it comes to helmets, though, I think that authority, law enforcement, needs to be less selective in their approach to enforcement, where you have some people where just get away with it, even though police, they they drive right behind them. For example, I've seen police drive right behind people without helmet. I see police stand on the street and people drive right by them without helmet, and nothing is done. And then you have just these random issues, these random instances where police comes and then they just detain people or stop people for not wearing a helmet. I'm saying you can't be selective. If you're going to address the issue, address it across the board.
All right, well, there's a comment from a viewer right now that I want to quickly pull up. If alcohol is known to be the main cause of these accidents, why not target the company and make the substance illegal? Always the poor pay and the rich stay unacceptable. Somebody also said because they're stupid. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we welcome your thoughts on either of the topics that was mentioned here. We also have another comment saying police themselves drive by without helmet and the public can't detain them too. And that's an excellent point there, viewer.
Yeah,
I think that's also a valid point. There are several cases where, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you feel like the police, they have selective enforcement on certain situations, right?
And that can be the case.
And it cannot. And so I think, though, in the case of the video that we just saw, there was some form of resistance, as you can see there on the screen. And so when it comes to that, perhaps that was one of the reasons why he might have been arrested.
And too wrong no make all right, but at the end of the day, too, they are not traffic issues, they are traffic violations. And you see where even police mobiles, people say, and people oftentimes bring up the fact that even some police mobiles, you say one headlight blow out or one of them brakes light blow out and they still they drive on the highway. In many cases that night then they drive on the highway. And who stopped them? Who put them in check? And I'm in no way condoning any sort of illegalities. I don't understand the full circumstance of this situation. What was reported to us was that the individual's passenger was not wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And as a result, police detained the driver. And we have to look into that. But it also brings up the conversation about traffic enforcement. And if we want our citizens to respect traffic laws and to abide by them, I think we should lead by example. I think it starts at the top.
Yeah.
For a minister, come right down to police officers, come right down to citizens.
All right, well, final comment from our viewer, Mish. She said, it's who you meet. Some officers are just lazy to be bothered, while some are by the books. And that's true. All right, well, Paul, we do have to wrap up this portion of the conversation. Thank you to everyone who locked in with us so early and started engaging in the comment section. We appreciate it, as always. But we do have to take our first break, and when we come back, we'll be jumping into that hantavirus conversation. Yes, I know you saw us kind of gloss over it, but we are going to be talking about the hantavirus as well as lupus. I believe this month is Lupus Awareness Month as well. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, that's what we have lined up for you.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
My name is Dr. Rosita Jimenez, and I'm a general laparoscopic surgeon. We have just finished an emergency appendectomy, and we're now moving on to our second operating theater for our laparoscopic gallbladder screening. Basically, this is very easy to diagnose. Simple abdominal ultrasound or a pan-abdominal ultrasound can give us the diagnosis. Laparoscopic gallbladder removal surgeries, 90 to 80% of the time, are done due to gallstones. However, there are other conditions like tumors, malfunctioning of the gallbladder that also are reasons to get a laparoscopic surgery. We also have an amazing CT scan and X-ray unit who work hand in hand with our doctors. Instruments used in laparoscopic surgery are chokers like these. It makes it easy for us to do the surgery through these entry ports. The recovery process is excellent. Basically, within a week, you are back up, ready to do your job, your daily life activity, like if you hadn't had this surgery.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Rock, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Welcome back. We are jumping into our first couch conversation, and we are going to have an extensive conversation surrounding lupus and hantavirus, but we're going to split it into two. And so we're going to start things off with lupus. The month of May is Lupus Awareness Month. And joining us to learn a little bit more about this disease, we have here with us Dr. Jorge Hidalgo. He's an internist. And we also have here with us a lupus patient, Kovenka Rodriguez. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank you for
welcome.
having
us. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have to say, I appreciate the shades of purple as well. Purple is the color for lupus awareness as well. And so I think we missed the memo.
Yeah, we did.
But we have a month. We have an entire month to do so. To make up for it. I want to take a step back, really, and perhaps try to understand what lupus is. Just earlier, I was talking about the fact that lupus is one of those diseases that I think still does not get enough awareness. There are still a few people who might not even be familiar with what it is, right? And so perhaps we can begin there. What is lupus? Doc, can you help us with that?
Well, again, thank you for having us. And then, yes, lupus, systemic erythematous lupus that we call it, is a very old disease. But despite of that, also, as you mentioned, it's still very difficult to diagnose most of the time. Mm-hmm. And as the name says, systemic is because it can affect any of our organs. Lupus is basically came from the Latin word that refers to wolf, because in the Middle Age they associate the different rashes and skin with the wolf bites.
Wolf?
Wolf bites.
Oh, wow. Wolf bites.
Yes.
Oh.
You know, that's the name of lupus, no? and erythematous because of the different skin issues that the patient affects. No? And essentially, it's an autoimmune disorder. No? And essentially, when we use for general terms, the autoimmune or the immune system is our defense, our army. And what happened with lupus is that this army that's supposed to recognize all the foreign invaders in our body, when it comes to autoimmune disorders, it basically became erratic and started to attack their own normal tissue. And in case of lupus, it can affect any organs: brain, heart, lungs, kidneys, the skin. And it varies with people. No? Some people have more of these conditions, some others have more of these organs affected. Some people, they just have a very mild form of lupus, and they can spend sometimes or many years with no problem until they have a really bad relapse. No? I mean that the main purpose of the managing the condition is to try to control this basically overreacting response of the immune system that creates a lot of inflammation in the body. I mean that we focus in the initial steps to trying to control that.
So it's an autoimmune disorder, and essentially you mentioned that where the immune system would protect you from other viruses and infections and ailments that could affect a person, it's attacking the body itself.
Exactly.
and its organs. And it could look different. It could be your lung, it could be your kidney, it could be your brain, and your heart as well. Now, you mentioned that it's also difficult to detect. Why is that?
Yes, actually, one of the terms that some people use when we talk about lupus is that it's the chameleon disease. Because it can mimic any condition. I mean that sometimes probably we are focused or trying to orient our diagnosis to something different, but at the end it results to be a lupus case. No? I mean that it's very difficult to diagnose sometimes. No? In some cases that we have a very specific type of symptoms, it could be easy, but most of the times it's a very challenging disease to diagnose.
Kovenka, you are diagnosed with lupus. Tell us a little bit about your story. When were you diagnosed and how did you find out?
I was diagnosed about 25 years. I can't remember the exact date, but it has been an experience. First, it started out with a fever, and then thereafter it started out with joint pains. That's the main thing, joint pains. One morning I couldn't get up and I couldn't walk. So I had to struggle with that. And it was a process I had to practice because I had to go to a doctor obviously to diagnose it. I've been to many doctors. My final doctor was Dr. Hidalgo. I must say he had diagnosed it officially. And from there, the journey has been interesting because some days I'm good, some days I'm bad. Some days you have joint pains, some days you don't have joint pains. So the main thing is that to maintain your health, being healthy, eating healthy, and of course, being consistent with that. Because if you ever stop any of those in terms of being healthy from exercising, all of that is very important because that helps you with the journey. I know sometimes you might get up and you don't want to walk, but you have to because it's a part of functioning for your day.
Wow. You said you were diagnosed in 2025?
No, 20 to 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Yes.
Wow, that's been quite some time.
From a young age. From a young age.
How has life changed for you since being diagnosed 20 to 25 years ago to where you are now, understanding this disease a lot more and perhaps having some time to accept?
Of course, in the first instance, I cried. I cried a lot because I couldn't believe it. I thought that this was my death sentence. So understanding it, reading more about it, I realized you can live a long life. It's all up to you what you do at the end of the day. That is how you can survive it. Like I said, eating healthy and doing the right things can make you live a longer life and being positive. And I must say, I have the Lord God to thank me because I'm still here because of Him, because I've went through so many things because of this, and I've kept the faith and always thankful for Him for waking up every morning, because you're not sure if you're going to wake up the next day. So you have to be thankful. The first thing, you have to give thanks to God. I have to give thanks to God because I'm here this long, because of course I'm that great Dalgo, because I have to consult with Him. But you know, I mean, the first person I have to thank is the Lord.
What has the journey been like when it comes to transformation in your physical appearance, and how have you come to terms with that?
Well, the good thing, in the beginning, because it was active, it affected my cheeks. You have what is called butterfly rash, the butterfly rash. However, if it's in remission, you don't have the butterfly rash. As you can see, I don't have the butterfly rash because I'm in remission at this moment.
Wow.
So that is the only thing you'll see, and then the pain in the joints you'll have.
Okay.
But I don't have the butterfly rash because I'm in remission at this moment.
How long have you been?
How long? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I've been in remission.
What do you attribute to that? Getting to that stage?
Like I said, the constant eating habits, healthy eating habits, ensuring, like for example, my kidneys somewhat is affected, right? And I have to maintain a healthy eating with that, ensuring that I don't eat things that affect the kidneys because of the protein. Because the protein is high, I cannot eat certain things. So like eggs and stuff like that, if I eat, I have to eat minimal. Vegetables and fruits are very important because that helps you to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And I know I was discussing with one of the gentlemen outside. He said, well, you know, healthy eating is kind of expensive. It is kind of expensive. And the whole entire lupus process is expensive because the medication itself is $200 or more for a box of my medication. So it's an entire process, and thankfully I can survive that.
How has this journey been like for those around you, your close family?
My close family and friends, they have been very supportive. I wouldn't be. Sometimes I feel down, you know, and you feel like, you know, how will I get, especially when you're in pain. You get up one morning and in pain, how will I survive the day? And thankfully, I work at an organization that's very understanding that, you know what, if today I am in pain, they will understand. I text and say, you know what, I won't be in office. So, I mean, I have very great support, and I have to thank my family and my friends for that. I can definitely.
How are you feeling today?
I'm great. I can't complain.
It's good.
I love that. Doc, speak a bit about the journey and how patients can live with this and perhaps experience a stage where remission is concerned.
Yes, well, the most important part is to recognize that we have the condition, make the diagnosis, mean that we have a series of, that we call it a very unspecific symptoms and other group of manifestations that are more leading to lupus and that we need to identify. One of the important things is that from each 10 cases of lupus, 9 cases occur in the women population. The females are more prone to get lupus. And if you ask me what is the cause of lupus, until now we don't know exactly. We attribute that it's a part of the genetics and also part of the environment. I mean, it's a combination of things. And if you have someone with lupus, a very close relative, you have probably the 5% chances that during your lifetime you can eventually develop lupus. No? I mean that when you make you have the clinical impression and you say, okay, probably this patient is exhibiting symptoms of lupus, have rashes, ulcers in the mouth, and pain in the joints, and it's a woman, then we need to try to say, okay, we need to try to address that and investigate for lupus. We send many years ago, we need to send everything outside. Now we have the ability to diagnose, to do this confirmation testing locally, and that's make more easy. But still, that it will take probably, when we send the test, probably between 5 to 7 working days to have the confirmation diagnostic test. And the most important part at the beginning is to be able to control this basically amount of inflammation, overwhelming inflammation in the body, the erratic immune system response. We call it that we start with medication that we call it disease stabilizer, and one of the most common medication is the one that we normally use during COVID, the anti-malaria medication, the hydroxychloroquine. Is one of the most simple medication that we use. Of course, there are a variety of and options of treatment, and it will depend on in what stage the patient is. And most of the outcomes, or the good outcomes of the treatment, depends on how the patient is understanding the condition. That could be overwhelming at the beginning, and the adherence to treatment and to the different lifestyle. No? Now, the condition kind of varies with people to people. No? There are people that are in a really bad situation. It could be the first manifestation of the condition, and the patient can end into the ICU in a really bad shape. And some other people, as I mentioned, that probably they just have a very mild skin rash, and they have lupus. I mean that the condition can vary just like that from one point to another. And also the relapses, it can be sometimes also very mild, and sometimes can be really, really aggressive. No?
Yeah. You mentioned stages. Are you able to perhaps break down what some of those stages could look like in the milder sense to the more extreme cases of lupus?
Yes, we can say that a mild case, as I mentioned, could be just fatigue, and probably the patients are describing that they are losing hair. No? It could be a very mild. Hence,
yeah.
And we have other cases where we have respiratory problems. We can end up with a really bad kidney disease that the patients require dialysis. Some patients also ended in the intensive care unit because they have a really bad respiratory distress with fluid build up in the lungs, in the belly, a lot of retention of fluids in the legs. The patients can also have that we call it a condition that is called vasculitis, which is an inflammation of the small vessels that can lead to encephalitis, or they can lead to patients have manifestations like a stroke, but it's basically as a result of the overwhelming inflammation caused by lupus.
How have you, Mr. Rodriguez, used your journey as sort of encouragement or empowerment to others?
That's interesting. Last night or yesterday I was talking to a young lady. I try to encourage people because I know my journey, and like Dr. Hidalgo says, everybody is not the same. Some people have it mild, some people have it extreme, and some people have other diseases with it.
Yeah.
So a young lady reached out to me, and we were having a discussion, and I tried to tell her, you know what, we all have illnesses, but it's up to you, positive mind, positive thinking, for you to say, you know what, I will get through this. That is very helpful. Positive mind and positive thinking.
I know that there is a support group for persons with lupus. I believe they also have an annual walk as well. Are you a part of this organization?
Yes, I'm part of the organization. Unfortunately this year, because we have to reorganize ourselves and certain situations within the group, we have to re-strength again. So we won't have any walk this year, but I'm looking forward to one next year, definitely. And I must say, one of my biggest struggle, I didn't mention it, is the brain fog. That is my biggest struggle. I could put something here, and then the next minute I forgot I left my phone there, or I put tissue there, I forgot about it. So that is my biggest struggle, and it kind of irritates me, to be honest, but yeah, I have to get through it.
Sharing that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Well, for anyone who might find themselves in a situation where they feel that they have some of these symptoms, Dr. Hidalgo, what would you recommend the step for them to take if they feel that they have some of the symptoms or they know someone who's undiagnosed?
Yeah, the most important thing is it's important to recognize that something is not going in the right direction, and probably is pointing out to lupus, meaning that the message is to trying to go with your family physician and ask if some of the symptoms could be or not related with lupus, and if it's a need for them to do additional testing for confirmation.
Well, thank you very much. Kovinka, I want to say we have a viewer commenting here, Melly Mel, saying, my favorite loopy, I see you, Cov. There are people tuning in and they see the effort that you're taking and they're clearly fighting with you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we have to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because remember what we mentioned earlier, we're going to be joining back in our second part of this conversation again with Dr. Hidalgo, and this time we'll be talking about the Hantavirus. What is it, and should we be concerned? We'll be talking about that when we come back.
Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Maria's was planned to open in 2020, and that's when COVID came. I thought the dream was dead. People would come to my house, they would purchase the coffees from there. That gave me the little confidence, like, okay, I could do this. Atlantic Bank, of course, helped me take the next step. Once I had their support, it was smooth sailing from there. This business is my life. It's literally what provides my family with food and employment. I employ 3 family members, so it's really everything for us.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Look here, your kitchen light there, and you been in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try to keep my coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try to think about what to eat.
You know, the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool. For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, the blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our final it's our second conversation, final segment with Dr. Hidalgo. And this time it's all about the Hantavirus. And we're just going to spend a brief moment speaking with Doc about this trending conversation, if you would. Doc, you've been following. What can you tell us about what you've learned?
Well, first of all, we need to say, or trying to explain what is the hantavirus. And the hantavirus, the initial cases was discovered during the Korean War, and the name came from Hantan River in Korea, where the first cases was discovered.
Okay.
They have more than 3,000 soldiers, UN soldiers at that point, that became infected. Some few of them died, but most of them survived. I mean, the Hantavirus came from Hantan River. From
That's
Korea.
a good fact to note.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean that of course many of us are following the cases of this cruise ship passengers that went stranded in Cape Verde, but the journey started in Antarctica. The initial cases that they believe that was a Dutch guy that went to probably in a lot of wildlife and a lot of adventures between Argentina and Chile. And then we have two different species of the Hantan. One that most commonly the lung affecting cases, that is most related with the cases that we contracted in the Americas, and we have the other clinical spectrum that we call it a hemorrhagic fever, that and kidney affection. That these are the cases that are more contracted for the species of the variety of the Hantan that is contracted in Asia or Europe.
Okay.
I mean that, and what is the importance of that is that the variety that is contracted in the Americans and especially in the Andes in Chile and Argentina have the peculiar that is basically transmitted in human to humans in a close contact. And that's the relevance of these particular cases. No?
So that's before you move on, that's very different than the first version in Asia, or the version in Asia where that's not the case. It's not human to human contact where that is spread. Yeah, well,
in those cases and this particular Andes variety is that, of course, this guy more likely went in, probably explored caves and some areas where he got in contact with the droplets or of the rats of the variety in the South America, no?
Yeah.
Probably he inhaled that. Actually, apparently he already started to exhibit some symptoms before boarding. And then while already in the ship, he started to became very ill and died. You know? And after that, the wife, she was transferred to South Africa hospital, and also she passed there. No?
Are these rodents specific to the Andes area? You speak about the Americas, but I don't know that we could find them anywhere
He's asking
else.
if it's a special type of rodent that has the hantavirus.
Some of the species definitely are in South America, especially the Andes one. We have the one in the 4 points in the U.S. that we call it a sin nombre virus, and some cases in Central America, in Panama, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Those are the when we see cases in the past. No?
I want to go even further just for clarity, because we also have rats here in Belize. Is it possible that we could contract hantavirus from any rat?
No, not necessarily, because they need to carry the virus. No, mean that it's not we at least so far until now we don't have no confirmed case in Belize over the years. No, of course we need to usually trying to ask the population that they need to extreme all the precautions and trying to have these areas where we have potential rats, trying to clean those areas and trying to wash the hands. If they're going to be in a closed environment, cleaning a house that probably is dirty, that they extreme the precautions, wear a mask, wear gloves, or wash the hands as much as possible, no? If they are going to get in contact with that. No?
Based on your understanding, how much of a threat is the virus to Central America and specifically Belize at this time?
Well, so far, this is one of the most probably question that everybody of us ask if we are facing a potential pandemic scenario, no? And due to the ability of how this virus multiply is very difficult. No? We need to be in a very close contact. It's not like the COVID-19, whose the ability to multiply and move is different. I mean that so far, all the information we have is that we don't expect to this one to turns into a pandemic situation. No? Now, one of the things that we need to say is that in this particular situation, the international collaboration and cooperation among agencies has been very critical to the success of moving everybody across. And of course, as we know already, not every country was so kind to accept the ship, but luckily Spain say, you know what, we are open to have accept the ship, and we have the ability to mobilize everybody out of the ship and put it in the different place and do the repatriation of the different people. No?
How effective do you think that process has been based on your observation in preventing any spread?
I think so. That was critical. No, one of the aspects that we need to say and mention with hantavirus is that the incubation period, it can basically goes from 1 to 6 weeks. I mean that it's a long time. That's why people need to be on quarantine for 45 days.
Wow.
Some of them at the very beginning, some of the cases they initially thought that they could send them home and quarantine at home, but as a precaution, they have those patients in the U.S., in the Nebraska and Emory in Atlanta. Actually, the one of the cases tested positive. They don't have all. They are not exhibiting life-threatening symptoms. Just have some symptoms and tested positive, and they are being managed for that. There are no specific treatment for hantavirus. So all the treatment is a supportive treatment if a patient got critically ill, especially the variety of the Andes variety, that essentially we will have these patients are going to exhibit pulmonary symptoms, meaning a lot of distress, and they probably require to be on mechanical ventilation and support treatment for the length of time until the patient is stable. No?
You were talking about some of the symptoms in the earliest stages. I know, depending on the two variations, what are some of the symptoms that you can expect?
Most of the time, we have patients basically having fever, they feel fatigue, tiredness, muscle ache, and in the Andes variety that we are seeing right now, they are going to present with respiratory symptoms, coughing, and in some really bad cases, respiratory distress with the escalating requirement for oxygen that will end it on mechanical ventilation support for the worst case scenarios. And in the case of the Asian and the Europe, we will have also symptoms that it will have bleeding. Some of the actually in both situations, we will see some of the blood components like the platelets, who is our first mechanism of defense that we have to form clots. The platelets are going to be depleted, and that it will put those patients prone for bleeding.
What's the likelihood of what's happening on that ship with those passengers? What's the likelihood of that scenario specifically affecting the region and Belize? What would have to happen for that to affect us?
Well, in this particular situation is very unpredictable because this group of passengers, they board in Antarctica, and many of them already been on different expeditions and different traveling experiences. I mean and they basically board the ship, and this particular patient, he went to explore all the
So the possibility of that spreading.
Yes. I mean, and that's the thing that probably it can be in a situation like that how many people boarding a ship, and some of them are already just probably following an additional adventure. They already went to different countries with different situation, and this basically put the scenario of that the traveling those days. You can the facility of traveling that you are in a place like right now with dengue. I'm here in Belize with dengue, and then you travel into the Middle East, and you are traveling, incubating the dengue, and you exhibit symptoms when you arrive to the other destination. Similar scenario we can experience, and when we have COVID, you see we have some patients that we need to disembark in Belize because of COVID. And I remember that we have a case that spent almost a month on mechanical ventilation, and then after a month we managed to extubate him, and more or less 1 or 2 weeks after were able to repatriate the patient to the U.S. And those are the scenarios that we have, and where collaboration is important, because in this particular case, a lot of agencies, a lot of supporting agencies, especially for the diagnostic purposes, because they need to, at the beginning, you have this patient, and nobody suspected that they have Hanta until they did the diagnosis.
How important is vigilance at port of entries at this time for a country like Belize?
Well, so far as we know, it's not a situation that we expected to have an outbreak or a pandemic, but of course, in each situation and each scenario, be vigilant is critical. We cannot have our arms unguarded. We need to always have this index of suspicions which is basically is going to be able for us to diagnose or identify that something is not going right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Doc, we appreciate the time that you've taken to have us understand a bit more what the hantavirus is, and of course, if we should be concerned if there's the possibility of this arriving in Belize or even in our region at this time. We appreciate the information as always, you taking the time to sit down with us. We know that you're a very busy man, and so we thank you for the time that you've taken, and we hope that even you guys tuning in have been able to hold on to some of that information and use it for your benefit. At this time, though, we are going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Our next conversation is about building Belizean businesses. We'll be spotlighting the Made in Belize Expo.
Prepare for the sweltering heat with a Rheem AC unit to keep you and your family cool and cozy. Get the recommended BTU for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save some much-needed cash with an inverter unit, which provides superior energy efficiency. When the heat is on, stay cool with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Rheem. Available at Belize. Quality and savings.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together. Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Some hands do more than carry. They prepare, they fix, they comfort. They keep a home moving in ways few people notice. And even when the day is done, they are still thinking of home. For the months of May and June, we celebrate the hands that hold the home together, offering you 25% off on tiles, lights, fans, ACs, gardening supplies, and more, both in-store and online. Thank you, moms and dads, from Builders Hardware.
The future is calling. Belize Bank, your future, our commitment.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. This conversation is all about highlighting Belizean businesses, and there has been an excellent expo and an excellent initiative from BCCI that has been ongoing for years, and it's called the Made in Belize Expo, an opportunity for Belizean businesses to be spotlight. This morning we are joined by Andrew Usher. He's the Marketing and Public Relations Manager representing BCCI, and we also have with us the owner of Sangria Mia, and it looks like we might be enjoying some sangria this morning as well. Amira Correa Pelayo joins us as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for having us. Morning.
Well, thank you, Amira, for bringing us some drinks so early in the morning. Yes, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right.
But before we get into sipping, I want to quickly highlight the Made in Belize Expo. Andrew, I know that this is a huge project coming out of BCCI annually. There has been a little bit of change this year, and so we can expect a different location as well. But let's get an overview of what it is in the first place. Made in Belize.
Yeah, so the Made in Belize is actually a trade show, but people, still have that similarity to call it an expo as well.
Yes, for sure.
And we've had it since 2018 where it was launched. And it's basically a great way for, entrepreneurs, micro and small businesses, wholesalers, retailers, and just general customers to come out all in one place to really be able to find products and services that are primarily made in Belize. And why we say primarily made in Belize is that, of course there might be some inputs that you need to outsource, but for the most part, the inputs that you have are strictly Belizean. So whether you're a painter, you're doing woodwork, whether you're making jewelry, whether you're doing wine, whether you're doing clothing, whether you're doing baskets, everything is sourced for the most part in Belize. And so this is one event that we typically promote to businesses, hotels, gift shops, and the general public, because it's a great way to be able to get those Belizean made, made in Belize products that you wouldn't find necessarily anywhere else. So this year we're looking forward to it because it's being held this weekend. That's the 16th of May. On the Salt Ring Road, that's next to the Sir George Brown Field. It's going to be on the road itself. So you're going to be able to, the road is going to be blocked off in certain locations, but you're going to be able to come in, and on both sides you're going to be able to find different products, different services that Belizeans have put their blood and sweat into. And so we're encouraging everybody to come out this weekend and be a part of the event.
You mentioned that it's different from an expo, it's a trade show. I just want to understand what makes the difference, so I could know.
Yeah, for us it's a bit more intimate. Okay. So in terms of just size, you're not looking necessarily at having super large businesses out there.
Got you.
This event is primarily micro, small, and medium focused. We do have some large businesses that typically would come out, but it's more of the smaller entrepreneurs that come out and really highlight what they have to offer. And for us, it's one of those events where we saw the demand for it. And we focus on making sure that the general public is always aware of when the event happens, because we always say, buy in Belize, build Belize, support your local homegrown, and that's what this event is about.
I just wanted to go over to Sangria Mia, Ms. Pelayo. You'll be one of the featured business at this event. How has this event helped to increase your exposure?
Well, I must say that I've been participating for the Made in Belize trade show for a few years now, and it's one of those things that it brings me exposure, it brings me connections, and also the opportunity to network with other small businesses that are out there. I think when I attended my first Made in Belize trade show was when I started to meet a lot of small businesses, and then you start making connections, and you started to feel that this journey, you're not that alone, and I think that's the beautiful thing when it comes to these things, is that you meet people out there who understand the struggles that you're going through, and then you become friends, right? And then you support each other, you help each other. And, you know, from these events, I've met individuals, and sometimes I have something that I need and I call them, completely different business line, but we still find a way to help each other, you know. So overall, this is a great event. I have met a lot of new customers from these events. It's an opportunity where customers can come and they can sample products, you know, get to know your Belizean products, you know. Overall, we have really great products here in Belize, and I think this is an opportunity for you to really understand the quality and the effort, the passion that goes behind the brands that are going to be out there, you know, aside from Sangria Mia. But I can say there are so many amazing products, and I'm really grateful that, you know, Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industries have created such a platform for us to go out there, for us to expose ourselves.
Yeah. What are the products that we have on display this morning?
So what we have on display, I mean, we have, for the Made in Belize trade show, we'll be having our Boss Lady Sangria. This is one of our newest flavors of sangria. It is raspberry based.
Oh, love it already.
Yes, it is. I don't know if you guys want to sample a little bit.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Sure. But the raspberry sangria is made from imported, but it also has locally grown raspberries. I'm not sure if you guys were aware that.
We are. We have a viewer probably tuning in right now, Michelle Sampson. She actually grows raspberry in her backyard.
Yes. So we have, we source our raspberries from Acton Finca Farm.
Smells good.
In.
Oh, you don't want to use a straw?
Acton Finca Farm. And so. But yes, so this is what we talk about, you know, using locally grown products to actually make this sangria.
Ooh. Yeah.
Wow,
you can taste the flavor.
You could see like little parts of the raspberry in there as well.
This is the Boss Lady?
This is the Boss Lady.
Definitely feel
Do you feel like a boss lady?
Yeah.
I feel like a boss lady after that. So how about you, Andrew? He's like,
so maybe Andrew now this is a new drink that we'll be showcasing out.
You still need the straw. I have straws.
So just give it a quick stir.
Okay.
What is this one? Is this a Boss Lady in here?
No.
Is it Boss Man?
So look at the layers here. Let me give you guys a view of that before I take my first sip.
So
what is this?
Okay, so this is something completely different than what we have ever put out for Sangria Mia. This is a non-alcoholic beverage.
Love it already.
And it is made from 100% natural ingredients. It's a botanical soda. And we are calling it strawberry mint sparkle.
This is my vibe right here.
People that would love this. Personally, I know a lot of people.
So go ahead and try it, and let me know.
This
what
is
you guys
really,
think.
really good, right? With the heat. This is the perfect way to beat the heat.
You don't even miss the alcohol.
This is so refreshing.
Oh my!
What do you think about it?
I enjoy everything that Sangria Mia produces. So I'm a fan of all the flavors.
They're really, really good.
Yes. So I must say we have been experimenting with refreshers or spritzers or sodas, like, you know, the different terminologies that are tied with this. And we actually will be showcasing our passion fruit.
Ooh, love passion fruit.
Yes, our passion fruit sparkle, and we'll be having our strawberry mint sparkle, and we will be selling it for $12, right? But if you bring your own cup, we will be giving you $1 off plus a glass straw. And the reason why we're doing that is because of sustainability. For one, this is the first time I'll actually be serving something in plastic. I've been so against it in terms of events and things like that, but it's so hard. I have so many customers saying, you know, when you want to sell something, and it's like, you know, but this is the first time I'll be doing that. But I'm thinking, okay, so how can I give a reward if you not get it in the plastic container, right? So bring your own cup, and we will do the serving for you, and we will reward you by giving $1 off, and you will also get a glass straw.
That's
right?
really wonderful. I mean, Amira, to stand for something. Clearly you have a philosophy where you want to protect the environment, and you're trying to find a way to incentivize that and to have other people buy into the importance of conservation and protecting this world that we only have. We don't get a second place to jump to if we ruin it here. And so I know that you said it's going to be an entire street area, so we could call it like a block, right? Do you have specific placements where business will be? For example, where will Sangria Mia be?
We'll be at booth number 100, and just to make it
the first or the last booth?
The first booth.
Just about, yeah.
So Deb's food truck will be there, and we'll be right next to them. As
if you've never been to Belmopan, right, and the way how Salt Ring Road is set up, I like to explain it as if you've ever been going to UB, to the University of Belize, because there's a road that takes you there. And so if you're coming from the other end where there's like a curve, if you're coming off the curve, then you would be meeting Amira's booth. And if you're coming from the opposite end, which I believe is where HRCU building is on, and you're coming from that end, then you'll meet booths 1 and booths 50. So both sides will be open. The event is free. We have to stress that. The event is a free event to attend, so you can come from either side to participate in the event. And we also have, I mean, we don't technically have a gate, but we do have gate prizes as well. So we do have prizes that can be won for simply coming out there, and they're all sponsored by the exhibitors that will be out there.
You have a total of 100 booths?
We had to downsize a bit, just to accommodate certain things. So right now it's presently at 80. We do still have some booths available.
Because I was trying to look at the numbering there.
Yeah, so
that's a lot.
So the initial ones had 50 on each side.
Okay.
But because we're running from 11 to 8, we had to factor in electricity, and so we decided to downsize to be able to make sure that all the booths have access to electricity. Who need it, right? So they're a bit spaced out now, but presently we have 80 booths. Some are still available. So if people are interested in participating, they can reach out to us at 614-3138, 223-5330. They can contact us on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or they can also just visit us right here on Coney Drive at the BCCI Western Union office.
Belmopan residents will not be unfamiliar with the location. It's where the Christmas tree is decorated. It's where there's always the seasonal decorations.
Yeah, the seasonal decorations.
And they'll also not be unfamiliar with this stretch because I think almost every week or every other week that stretch is blocked off, and similarly businesses are propped up along that stretch. And I think what makes it an ideal location is the fact that versus walking around, you just walk one stretch and we have businesses on both sides. So I think it's perfect.
I love the expression.
Yeah, no, I think it's perfect, and so it's one of the better locations you guys have chosen so far. Hopefully we'll stick with it.
You know, and you can't help but, you know, try to push that. It is primarily made in Belize products. So whether you're going to an event, you'll typically find a whole variety of different products, and you might get overwhelmed because what you're looking for isn't necessarily what's there in the place that you would expect it. Here we have primarily micro on one side, and then it runs micro again into commerce and into food. So everything's pretty much laid out that if you want food, you go to the far end near where Amira is. If you want some commerce, because we do have Country Foods and West Bell and Country Meats that are going to be out there. They're after the food areas, and then everybody else is primarily micro, small, and medium.
Okay, I might have to go to Belmopan this week.
Same here. Because Amira, I was just thinking to myself, what if I come with a 16-ounce tumbler?
This how I pay the price? I mean,
is that 2 glasses or what?
Well, actually, the serving is 16 ounces.
What if I come with a 24? I'm kidding.
It's gonna be 16. But, you know, I forgot to mention that we'll also be having our WTF packages.
Let's jump into that.
And so that's 4 different flavors of sangria for $75. That's the normal price, but we'll have it for $70 out here. Again, the Boss Lady is for $55. We'll be having it for $50. We'll be having different flavors you could sample, and also we'll be sharing our booth with aromatics.
Ooh, lovely.
And so,
love aromatics.
Yes. So if you want your your fragrance hookup, you could come. You will at the booth number 100. You'll have your You have your strawberry mint sparkle, your sangria, your fragrance.
All right. Well, guys, this sounds like it's going to be a great weekend. Definitely, there's something for everyone. If you want to beat the heat with a refreshing drink, you can definitely stop at Sangria Mia. And of course, if you just want to check out different businesses, we oftentimes say support Belizean businesses. This is a way that you can do that. We have BCCI that has really created this event for small, and medium businesses as well. And you now have an opportunity to stop at this location and check out something. There's something for everyone there. Guys, it's a pleasure having you both here. It sounds like it's going to be a great weekend, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we do have to take another quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our next conversation is just as inspiring. We're going to be highlighting motherhood, resilience, and building Caribbean brands.
Essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
Insurance fact. Did you know Home Protector Insurance provides liability insurance that is for licensing? Public liability insurance for the hotels and guest houses protects the guests staying at the resort. Tour operators insurance for on-site tourists and marine passenger liability for passengers. You take care of your guests, we'll take care of you. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
Get ready, Dangriga. Something big is coming your way. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easier for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
My name is Dr. Rosita Jimenez, and I'm a general laparoscopic surgeon. We have just finished an emergency appendectomy, and we're now moving on to our second operating theater for our laparoscopic gallbladder screening. Basically, this is very easy to diagnose. Simple abdominal ultrasound or a pan-abdominal ultrasound can give us the diagnosis. Laparoscopic gallbladder removal surgeries, 90 to 80% of the time, are done due to gallstones. However, there are other conditions like tumors, malfunctioning of the gallbladder that also are reasons to get a laparoscopic surgery. We also have an amazing CT scan and X-ray unit who work hand in hand with our doctors. Instruments used in laparoscopic surgery are chokers like these. It makes it easy for us to do the surgery through these entry ports. The recovery process is excellent. Basically, within a week, you are back up, ready to do your job, your daily life activity, like if you hadn't had this surgery.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. Where bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Things along, but we want to take a brief moment to check out a recent visit that we made. I see Paul still sipping on his drink and enjoying his raspberry flavored drink. And speaking of that, we had Miss Amira here on the couch saying where she sourced her raspberry. Well, we also recently took a visit to that very same farm. It's called Actun Finca in the western part of the country. And so we are going to take a brief moment to look at what that unfolding looked like. April took us there, so let's go there right now.
When we think about agriculture in Belize, we often think banana, citrus, or even cacao. But tucked away behind the Maya Mountains is a small community known as Waterhole, where their ventures are raspberries. That's right, Finca Actun's venture is growing a winter fruit in a tropical climate. Let's take a look at what they're doing here. I have with me here Gomar Enriquez, the founder of Finca Actun, to talk to us about why he ventured into raspberry farming. Hi, Gomar.
Hi.
How's it going?
Fine.
Yes, it's a nice. The weather is holding out for us a little bit, but talk to me about why raspberries.
Well, originally I was doing vegetables and stuff, but the market gets really saturated. And then I was was trying to venture on things we don't produce in Belize. So raspberries was something that came to my mind, and then I found a friend that gave me some plants for free. So that's where it started.
So I think I have a nice one here. It's ready for the picking, yes. Great. Okay, let's move on. They have some really, really nice ones in here in the bush, but we have to be extra careful. Yes, very good. Right for the picking. Awesome. To be very careful. This is a very thorny bush. See some very nice ones here. Oh, wow. We are here in your raspberry field, and people think, well, the climate in Belize isn't really that good for berries or winter berries, winter fruits. But here we have a beautiful, nice, juicy raspberry that is ready for the picking. How did you do this?
Well, it's trial and error. Apart from this, I have tried the blackberries too. They're doing good. We have tried blueberries, so we'll soon have some in Belize. Strawberries do good here also. And we're just a stone away from Pine Ridge. We are behind Pine Ridge and Guatemalan border. So I think the weather, climate helps a lot here. Well, I've been learning the hard way because I have nobody to copy from here in Belize, especially as of these fruits, and it's been challenging. I think I figured it out already. So we just need to keep learning from them. And at the beginning the fruits were smaller, but now I think the plants adapted very well also.
Yeah.
So we get big fruits already.
How do you know when the berry is ready?
Well, they need to be really, really red like this one, see? And then when you touch it, it's just easy to come off. And then this one will take like 2-3 more days. This one will be ready like for Friday. But when they are ready, it's just...
It's beautiful and nice. I have here one that it's like hiding way to the bottom, but like if I just slowly reach out and it's ready for, look at that, so beautiful. And very, very sweet, if I might add.
And an important thing, we can eat them like that. They're pesticide free. We have hives that feed on from the blossom of the flowers. So we do produce raspberry honey also from the blossom of the raspberries. And we try to have everything organic here for benefit of the soil, birds, our bees, and most importantly for human health. They will usually start flowering on the colder days, but we've been working on that. We've been getting them to produce longer than the first year we had them. So we have a cycle of like between almost 8 months of production now for the year.
Wow. What's the upkeep like? I see you have a makeshift irrigation system.
Yes, raspberries love the cold weather and a lot of water. So we need a lot of water. So we're trying to keep with the irrigation system, like running it as soon as the rain stops, so that we can have the production continuous. After that, we need to wait for the fruit to get really ripe. As you saw the field, once it's ripe, you just touch it and it stays on your hand. We need to bring it to a section where we put it on a table for it to, if it has extra water, for it to drain. And when it's completely dry, then we start the packaging on the small containers, and then it goes to town on a rough road. So it's a long drive to town. We put it on a cooler there, and then we try to make them have them as fresh as possible on stores. We're trying to expand on the berries. We know we are very dependable from the importation of blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, so we are working on that. Hopefully in the couple years, Finca Acton will be able to supply the Belizean market with locally produced strawberries, blueberries, and we do mulberries already. So,
would you ever think about opening like a farm where people come here and pick their own berries? Is that something that you are open to do?
yeah, actually we are doing it on Saturdays when we have a big production. Like, we've been doing it for 3 Saturdays in a row, but Saturdays we are opening for the public. They come and harvest their fresh fruits. They pay per pound, only $17 per pound.
Wow, that's an incredible deal actually. And of course your harvesters, they carry their own little buckets. Is that the bucket that you're going to weigh and have people take home with them?
No, you need to bring your own container.
It's bring your own container.
Yeah, forget that part. Yeah, we just weigh it and then you take your container.
What is your final dream that you would like to see achieved when it comes to Finca Acton?
Well, the final dream is I want to see Finca Acton products outside of Belize. I'm working on that actually, and for that we're waiting for things to align, because we have an overproduction for the country, and we are working along with other farmers to see if we can get that consolidate and we could start ship outside the country.
There you have it. Who says that winter berries can't be grown in a tropical climate like Belize? Thank you so much to Finca Acton for showing us that resilience really is as sweet as a raspberry.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Now, April really got an opportunity to see firsthand how Finca Acton does it, and I have to tell you, Paul, I've seen these trays of raspberries oftentimes in stores, and I never knew that it was from here in Belize. That's amazing. Well,
Yeah,
kudos to them.
I think I just have to look at the branding and then I'll realize it after this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to jump into our next conversation this morning, and we have here with us virtually Janet Bryn. She's the founder and CEO of Caribbean Posh, and she's joining us from the British Virgin Islands.
Ooh.
This morning's conversation is all about motherhood, resilience, and building her brand, Caribbean Posh. Good morning, Janet. It's a pleasure having you here with us.
Good morning. I was looking at those berries and they look delicious.
Yeah, they
so
do.
good, right?
Yeah.
Now,
we need to get those up.
well, you gotta come. You gotta come to us here in Belize.
Yeah, that's true.
Now let's jump into your business, your brand, Caribbean Posh, and the waves that it has been making for the past decade in bringing women together and providing a sense of empowerment to them as well. What is Caribbean Posh?
So thank you so much for the opportunity. Caribbean Posh, it's been, my blood, sweat, and tears kind of thing that I've been doing for the past, actually more than a decade. The event itself is a decade, yes, but the brainchild and the work behind getting it to where it is now, not to mention that we have way more to go, but I started in my undergrad, just trying to think about what I wanted to do with my life, and I know I wanted to be involved with something that was bigger than myself, and I had a huge passion for my culture, being a Caribbean woman, and just being passionate about being a female and what it means to be female, and the importance of that, and wanting to connect with women like myself, and giving us safe space, if you will, to collaborate and grow and share thoughts and ideas unapologetically and in real time. So yeah, so I've had the pleasure in 2016 to start to have the platform come to life, if you will, in this form of an event where we're physically coming together and just having amazing time.
What does POSH stand for?
Well, really, I use the word posh to really define who I feel we are as Caribbean people.
Okay.
We're of class, we're of beauty, we're smart, we're intelligent. So we want people to think highly of themselves when they come into our space or the platform. And it's just a wonderful thing, I feel.
Yeah. Now, you spoke of an event that you started 10 years ago and how much it has really manifested into this huge platform. As we're seeing on the screen, there's also an award ceremony that is held to highlight women as well. How has your business, Caribbean Posh, really evolved into having these other areas where women can be highlighted and celebrated as well?
Yeah, so as I alluded to, I initially started as an online magazine. I did dabble in print publication. We still do the online magazine as well. And of course, with the world of social media, we're amplifying that way as well. It would have been 2016 when I came up with the idea to do the event. And it started as a one-day event, our signature event, the Pastoral Power Brunch, which is a traditional brunch with panel speakers and a keynote, and there's fashion, celebrate Caribbean women in design as well, and just every which way we could celebrate us as Caribbean women. And then naturally, every year, you're trying to figure out how to grow, how to do better, how can we connect more, and all that good stuff. So we came up with adding the Caribbean Posh Icon Woman Awards, and then we closed out the weekend with our Pink Sunday Sunset Sale. So all curated to, celebrate us in meaningful ways, and also get to learn about our relative countries. We're inviting you, obviously, to the British Virgin Islands. You get to see a bit of the British Virgin Islands and see what your connection is as a Caribbean person, whether you're coming from Belize, from Barbados, from Trinidad, wherever you're coming from. We have connections that we don't always get to celebrate. So an event like this or a platform like this allows us that opportunity. The awards in particular, I've been very excited about because it really builds unity in a more exciting way. The first year we did the awards, I was so excited to see how the minute we put all the nominees on the platform, people were getting excited to see if their country was represented. Even if they didn't even know the person, they were just excited to get behind a Caribbean woman doing something amazing.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough, how when you really take the time to pay attention, I think that's my personal joy when I sit and I look through the nominations, or even when I'm doing research to find out what different Caribbean women are doing in the region. Always exciting to see what we're doing, and we just to amplify that, because we amplify it more, it lends itself to really elevating us as a whole Caribbean-wide, movement, and let the rest of the world know just how beautiful and intelligent innovative, and all this positivity that the Caribbean has within it.
When is this event coming up?
Right. So our event will be next month, June, the last weekend, 25th through the 30th, here in the British Virgin Islands.
And how can women, for example, in Belize, connect and participate in what you have going on?
Yeah, so we encourage ladies, everybody in Belize to log on to our website, www.caribbeanpass.com/WKC. Submit your nominations. If you know a woman who is just doing amazing things, we have over 17 categories, from founders to entrepreneurs to sports to women under 30 who are doing innovative things. If that sounds like you and you know a person that deserves to be celebrated beyond her shores, definitely log on to the platform and submit her nomination, because we love to celebrate her.
Outside of the nominations, is there like some sort of package where you can purchase and participate in the events?
Yeah, on the website you can definitely register for the event. You could come over to BVI, stay the whole weekend with us, have an opportunity to make some meaningful connections, whether through the awards, the power brunch, or Pink Sunday sunset sale. Depending on what genre of business you're in, it's a great opportunity to connect and expand your brand. We have a mini marketplace where we'll be showcasing various women from the region who are, whether they're in design or making candles or whatever your brand is, have an opportunity to discover new clientele, if you will, and get your product. If it's a product that you're selling, get your product in other places. So we're excited about that. So definitely log on to the website and register to attend. We would love to have you join us. And actually, we'd love to one day come down and do the event in
we'd love to have you here as well.
Because that is a long-term goal to, travel around the Caribbean. I get that request a lot. Women are always messaging, when you coming to Trinidad? When you coming to, we're coming.
And when you're coming to Belize, has also put that on the list. Well, Janet, this has been a wonderful conversation. It sounds like you're doing real impactful work, and I hope that when you look back at your younger self doing your undergrad, you can appreciate the impact that you have been making so far. We appreciate you, and we wish you all the best for your event.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'm thankful to God and thankful to all the women across the Caribbean region who have been motivating me to just keep that level of resilience to keep something like this going, because as you know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And my overall vision is for Caribbean Pass to continue to grow as a global platform and really encourage us as Caribbean women, to take advantage of the visibility and the connection and the mentorship and opportunities for economic empowerment, and be bold about it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Janet. And we are so appreciative that you were able to join us all the way from the British Virgin Islands. All right. Well, at this time, we have to take one more quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have another conversation to look forward to. We are wrapping things up, actually. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be closing things off.
Prepare for the sweltering heat with a Rheem AC unit to keep you and your family cool and cozy. Get the recommended BTU for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save some much-needed cash with an inverter unit, which provides superior energy efficiency. When the heat is on, stay cool with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Rheem. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
are closing things off at this time, and we want to say thank you to everyone who joined us. It's been a jam-packed show, I know. But we definitely want to say thank you to everyone who joined us and you guys for locking in, commenting throughout the course of the morning as well. As Paul mentioned earlier, it is May 12th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com.
You could also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BC. On Instagram for all behind the scenes content at OYE Belize. We even have TikTok, that's Open Your Eyes .bc.
And we also have a phone number, that's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow on Wednesday when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
All right, guys, stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay put because we want to see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.